Ask our clerk to call the roll, please.
Representative Blanton. Representative Bowling. Representative Bridges. Representative Birch. Representative Cantrell. Representative Dossett. Representative Dotson.
Present.
Representative Duplessis.
Here.
Representative Flannery. Representative Fugate.
Here.
Representative Johnson. Representative Kirk McCormick. Representative Marzian. Representative Miles. Here. Representative Gibbons Prunty.
Here.
Representative Scott.
Present in my annex office.
Thank you. Representative Stevenson. Representative Wesley.
In the room.
Representative White. And Chair Gooch.
Here. Okay, we do have a quorum. We are going to deviate a little bit from the agenda this morning. The first thing we're going to take up is Senate Bill 341. It's an act relating to forestry. Senator Smith, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. Senate Bill 341 simply permits grant-funded employment opportunities within the Division of Forestry. And simply, if they get money in to their
Senator, is
summer
your mic
programs-
on?
Oh, yeah, it's turned on.
Is it on? Maybe I have to pull a little closer to you. Okay.
So Senate Bill 341 just permits grant-funded opportunities for employment within the Division of Forestry. If they get grants in, they can hire people through the summer. If they don't get grants in, they don't. So it's
Motion on the bill.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Are there any questions? Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Bowling.
Yeah.
Representative Bridges.
Yes.
Representative Birch. Representative Cantrell. Representative Dossett. Representative Dotson.
Yes.
Representative Duplessis.
Yes.
Representative Flannery. Representative Fugate.
Yes.
Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Kirk McCormick.
Yes.
Representative Marzian. Representative Miles. Representative Gibbons Prunty.
Yes.
Representative Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Stevenson. Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative White. And Chair Gooch.
Yes. Okay, the bill does pass with favorable expression. Senator Smith, you did very well today, so thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Thank you for your committee.
Next, we're going to do Senate Bill 315. Senator Mills. See.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I'm Robbie Mills, State Senator from the 4th District, representing Northwest Kentucky. And I have some guests here. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Tom Fitzgerald, Kentucky Resources Council. Bill Barr, Kentucky Oil and Gas Association.
Okay, this is a companion bill that we had already run that through this committee. I think we do have a committee sub. There's not a sub for this. I apologize. Okay, Senator, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. As Chairman Gooch said, y'all have heard this information before, but we want to just emphasize the importance of this. As part of the federal infrastructure bill, there's $104 million worth of funds coming down to Kentucky to, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Any other questions from any committee members? Okay, if not, we'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Bridges.
Yes.
Representative Birch. Representative Cantrell. Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Dotson.
Yes.
Representative Duplessis.
Yes.
Representative Flannery.
Aye.
Representative Fugate.
Yes.
Representative Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Kirk McCormick.
Yes.
Representative Marzian. Representative Miles. Representative Gibbons Prunty.
Yes.
Representative Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Stevenson. Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative White. And Chair Gooch.
Yes. Also, that bill does pass with favorable expression. The same should pass. So, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Senator Mills, we'll leave you there. We're next going to take up Senate Bill 205. We have a motion on, we have a committee sub and a motion, a second. All in favor of adopting the committee sub, signify by saying aye. All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We saved all the good bills for last.
Yes.
So, today we have Treasurer Ball with me today, and also online we have Brian Cantrell from Alliance Coal, and we also have several folks from Alliance in the audience as well. Senate Bill 205, as amended by the committee sub that you just adopted, addresses energy and fossil fuel boycotts. Energy production is vital in Kentucky's economy, and thousands of Kentuckians depend on jobs in the coal, oil, and gas industries. Fossil fuels provide reliable, affordable energy, but unfortunately, the fossil fuel industry is under attack. Major banks and investment firms are denying lending to investments in fossil fuel companies in an effort to promote green investments and political agendas.
Motion on the bill.
Motion and second. Does anyone have any questions? While we're doing that, we do have some guests that are here probably because of this bill. So I'd like Representative Miles to maybe introduce some.
Well, I'll introduce a constituent of mine, and with the redistricting, with the number would be the chairman is Kim Humphreys in our audience today. So we're happy to have them from Alliance. But I do have a question about the bill. May I go ahead with that, or
I'm sorry?
I said I have a question on the bill.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I just want you to kind of walk through us a little bit of why this is brought forward. I think it's important for people to know kind of why this legislation's come forward.
I'll allow Treasurer Ball to address that since you hadn't had a chance to speak yet.
Sure, happy to talk about this. So, as you know, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, ninth generation from the coal fields. I really understand the coal industry, the oil and gas industry, and I've been observing for the last few years great efforts to target these industries, these traditional energy fields, coming from definitely political agendas, also coming from the Biden administration. And I've been involved in the last couple of years from my level, writing letters, writing comments, pushing back. But I've really come to the realization that I've only got 2 years left, and there needs to be some something that lasts beyond me. So this statute would be really important to make sure we are protecting signature industries in Kentucky. These dramatically impact our economy, and I think it's even more obvious than ever that we really do need to be energy independent as a state, as a country, and this preserves and protects that. So it's unique. It's always been important, but I think it's uniquely important right now.
Yep. A couple other things to add to that. There are several treasurer's offices in the nation that are doing this as well. And then the other, we have worked with some of the big banks, and that's what the two changes that are made in the committee sub as well were to address some of their concerns. So we're happy with where we're at on the bill at this point.
Representative Kirk McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say welcome to Tucker Davis. He is the Kentucky president of the Kentucky Coal Association. So, Tucker, will you just wave to everybody? Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. We did have Tom Fitzgerald to speak, signed up to speak on this bill, I think. Is that correct? We're pressed for time, so.
Understood. I'll be uncharacteristically brief, Mr. Chairman. First, let me just express my profound appreciation to Chairman Mills for carrying the Senate version of the Orphan Well Bill, and for you all giving it the sort of reception you did. That is definitely a shoe-shining bill, Mr. Chairman. We get that money back to Kentucky and put people back to work plugging those wells. It's going to be a great thing. I wanted to very briefly, and I've shared these concerns with Chairman Mills before, just to express my concern that while I understand the intent behind Senate Bill 205, I don't think it's going to accomplish much of anything. And the reason for that is I've watched the financial institutions over the past 20 years, particularly over the past 5 to 10 years, And I know of no decisions that they have made that are not for a, quote, ordinary business purpose, which is exempted from this bill. Those sorts of decisions are not considered to be an energy boycott. And I've not seen any situation in which a financial institution has lent or has refrained from lending, has invested or has refrained from investing for reasons other than a belief by that institution that they're acting prudently towards, in the ordinary course of business, towards, with a fiduciary business purpose towards their shareholders. In fact, there are federal remedies if they fail to do that. So I doubt that many of these institutions will be subject to the Treasurer's list of energy boycott companies for any reason other than they failed to respond within the 60 days provided in the statute and find themselves listed for that reason. I understand the intent behind Senate Bill 205. I think we all, to a greater or lesser extent, align where we choose to spend our money with our values, and I understand the statement that the bill makes, and I appreciate it very much. But I believe that we all I just don't think the bill will accomplish much in terms of positive outcome for Kentucky's beleaguered fossil fuel industries, for its workforce, or for the ratepayers. I think we all understand the climate is changing dramatically, rapidly, dangerously in some cases, and that a transition is underway and is inevitable and is necessary. Anticipating and adapting to that change in a way that protects our most vulnerable ratepayers, who many of you know I represent in my other job, and our businesses and the workforce during this transition is a legitimate goal, and I appreciate the work that the chairman has done towards that end in other bills. I simply don't see that 205 gets us further down the road. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have. And, Mr. Chairman, this may be my last time after 44 years of being in front of this committee, and I just wanted to thank you and thank the members of the committee for this wonderful opportunity to participate in these policy discussions and these debates.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Let me just say that in a few moments we're going to hear House Bill 755, and House Bill 755 is an attempt to address what we consider a wrong to the ratepayers of Kentucky, and the biggest part of that was because there was the Big Sandy power plant. There was a coal-fired power plant that had existing life available to it. It could have continued to serve the people of East Kentucky well as it had in years past. And because of policies from the Obama administration, that plant was closed, and it was closed by the company that owned it. But they were acting, I'm clearly convinced, it's what they thought the federal government was trying to mandate that they do. Those type of policies are back in now, and they are going to be just as detrimental to Kentucky and our ratepayers as what that closure of the Big Sandy plant was. We may not be in a position here where we can have a huge impact going forward, but at some point we have to fight back. As the representatives of the people, we have to fight back. And the one thing that I really take offense at is so many of the consumer advocates that will talk about how they really care about the consumers because they want to be there at the rate hearing saying that they're representing them, but they never open their mouth when decisions are made in Washington that really affect those changes. And for me, I think, no, this is not directed to anyone here, but for me, I think many of those groups are frauds. And we have to register and fight back as best we can for our citizens, for their ability to have reliable, resilient, affordable electricity. It's important to our business community. Kentucky has built a very good industrial economy based on cheap electricity. When I came here, we were probably the third cheapest in the nation. It's certainly the cheapest east of the Mississippi River, and that has changed a lot over the last few years. And I view this bill as an attempt to at least fight back and say, we're not going to take it anymore. Representative Miles?
I just wanted to make a comment, and this is probably the strongest statement that I heard one of our energy leaders of our groups whenever they were talking about the decisions that they were making. And they said that they're making 40-year decisions, business decisions, based on a 4-year election cycle. And to me, that was one of the most powerful statements ever that I've heard. And we don't think like that as far as, elections come and go. We all come and go. We recognize that. But as far as moving our country forward and keeping our, especially the energy independence, to even think that we would, as a country, stand in the way of that being a possibility, especially whenever we're watching what we're seeing in other countries and way far away. This is maybe a small opportunity to work towards that. And I understand this may not be the perfect fix and might not solve all the problems of the world. We have great confidence in Senator Mills to do that. But with that being said, that statement of 40-year business decisions, and like I introduced someone from our district with Riverview, they are constantly making long-term business decisions. And if we have financial institutions that are making political statements based upon those decisions, that is a huge concern. So thank you for bringing the bill forward. And even if it makes an opportunity to kind of shed a little light on that, thank you.
We have Representative Bowling, and then I think we're going to have roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just want to thank you all for bringing this bill. It's just important that we put this subject in the correct light, because I think you've seen more and more from the federal government. I know the Securities and Exchange Commission's getting into this on reporting not only your carbon from the company itself, but also its downstream entities. So any supplier to that company, that they've got to issue a report, and that's what Washington is pushing right now. So this is vitally important. We've got to push back in Kentucky, and I appreciate this bill. Thank you.
Secretary, call the roll, please.
Representative Blanton,
Aye.
Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Bridges,
Explain my vote.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Mills, Treasurer Ball, I appreciate this bill. We're in a new age where we focus on diversity, discrimination, equity, and I'm all for. I stand for that, but that's a two-way street, and we've got to protect our resources here in Kentucky that has been here for decades. And a prior president just declared war on coal right out of the gate, and we're quick, and we've spent as a state, literally millions of dollars trying to diverse our energy needs, and we're good at that, but we can't forget those that supported us, the foundation that our state's rested on for the last 200 years or longer. So I've got a lot of industries that are the downstream industries, barges, rails that work throughout this state. So I just want to tell you, I appreciate you keeping us on a level playing field and our vitality on that. So thank you very much, and I vote yes.
Representative Birch, Representative Cantrell, Representative Dossett,
Yes.
Representative Dotson,
Most definitely.
Representative Duplessis,
Yes.
Representative Flannery,
Yes.
Representative Fugate,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Yes.
Representative Kirk McCormick,
May I explain my vote, please?
Yes.
I represent Martin and Pike County, and the coal was our economy. It has been for many years. And I took very strong offense to what they've done to our coal industry and what they've done to our people. In addition to that, they put the cost of the demolition of the Kentucky Power Plant on electric bills. And to add insult to injury, we, the citizens, paid for the demolition of that plant. So I have a very strong yes. Thank you.
Representative Marzian, Representative Miles,
Yes.
Representative Gibbons-Prunty,
Yes.
Representative Scott,
Chairman, I'd like to explain my vote.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm voting no, Chairman, because my father-in-law was a coal miner in West Virginia, and I remember him sharing stories of those workers being able to boycott for their rights. And that's something that in my community I grew up with, was the right to boycott. And I don't want to take that away from anyone. So I'm casting my no vote today. Thank you.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Wesley,
Absolutely.
Representative White, Chair Gooch.
Yes. Okay, thank you. The bill does pass with favorable expression, that same should pass. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. The last item on the agenda is House Bill 755. And as our people had previously talked about the reason for this bill, and so what we're attempting to do with 755 is to try to give some relief to people who have seen their utility rates increase dramatically. There is actually a committee sub, but I'm going to wait to. Oh, yeah, let's wait. So anyway, at this time we're just going to hear some. What this bill does is it identifies some factors that we might be able to do in Kentucky that would help with rates for the consumers. One talks about the, I guess, annualizing the fuel adjustment clauses, where you're not getting a huge increase at one particular month, because that really does seem to hurt our Kentuckians. Another is securitization, which is a mechanism where when these plants that do have life in them are closed, that we can, the citizens don't necessarily have to pay as big a cost for the decommissioning of those plants. And so that's part of the bill. Another part of the bill is, whether or not we want to try to encourage the companies that are closing stranded assets to try to sell those first. Another part of that process is maybe, one of the things we see is that when the Public Service Commission has utility increases, often they're put off for a long period of time. They're very expensive, they're very complicated, and we've actually seen some electric rates probably cost as much as $1 million just to prepare and file those rate increases. And so what happens is the consumer's rate looks kind of like a hockey stick. It just goes along, and then all of a sudden you have a huge spike there. And are there other ways that we could streamline that process? One bill this year talked a little bit about an annual rate mechanism. I think we might look at something like that as part of this. So with that, we're going to hear some testimony. I think we have a representative from the Public Service Commission here today. We ask that you identify yourself for the record and maybe enlighten us a little bit about any part of that three-prong approach or four-prong approach that might be beneficial for Kentucky.
Good morning, and thank you, Chairman. My name is Amy Cubbage, and I am Vice Chair of the Public Service Commission. I appreciate the chance to be here today. We at the Public Service Commission stand ready to support any task force that this body chooses to enact and have during the interim to study any of these. Obviously, all of these issues are very important to the work that we do on a daily basis. We know that the fuel adjustment clause and the volatility in fuel rates hit our ratepayers drastically over the winter. We are currently in our 6-month review of the fuel adjustment clause, but that is only right now the review of May through October. So our current review is not of that volatile period, but we are in the process of reviewing those rates, reviewing our reg, and seeing if anything could be done, and would be happy to participate with the task force to review that. As far as securitization, we do think that is a vital way we can help reduce ratepayers' expense for some of these assets, for the regulatory assets that ratepayers are required to pay for, and we would love to have that discussion. And last, with the retirement of generating facilities, I do want to say this. It is a huge concern of me personally, just in my short time on the Public Service Commission. I sit on the board of the organization of MISO States, which is an advisory committee to MISO, which is the Midwest Regional Grid. Big Rivers and Henderson are part of that grid. Since my time on there, we've had a lot of meetings with MISO, and I've learned that this is a very big concern for our energy planning for the next 20 to 40 years. And there are concerns from the MISO end that I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Premature retirement of thermal generating assets such as coal and natural gas facilities put an extreme risk on our grid, on the security of our grid, particularly with the increased electricity demands we're going to see from electric vehicles. So this is something that we have to be concerned about. We have to make sure that we are smart in any closures and any transitions from the existing assets, and that we are not hasty in how we do that. With that, I'm happy to take any questions that you have about the PSC or the task force that is proposed in the committee sub.
Okay, before we do that, we do have Senate Committee Sub 2. Do we have a motion to adopt that? Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed by like sign. What we're going to go ahead and do, because we do have members that have to testify in other committees, we're about to lose our quorum, and so I would ask that we can still continue to discuss this after the vote, but I would ask that the clerk call the roll on House Bill 7. Oh, we have a motion on the bill by Representative Blanton. Huh?
What does the committee sub do?
The committee sub just makes this into like a task force or LRC study. Yeah, because this just was really getting more complicated than we realized, and so we felt like, and then with the fact that I think the Liberty, which is talked about purchasing Kentucky Power, and they have, I think, filed with the Public Service Commission that they will not charge the decommissioning costs for like 3 years. So I think that may be helpful to us. And so with that, we're going to make this we think we have time to do a study. Okay, any other questions? Clerk, call the roll, please. Do we have a second? Okay.
House sub 2. Make sure they know that they're voting on proposed House sub 2.
Okay, this is proposed House Sub 2 is the one that makes this into the study. So that was what was amended, and that's what we will be voting on, this bill as amended by the committee sub.
Motion and second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Blanton, second by Fugit.
Okay.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Bridges.
Aye.
Representative Birch. Representative Cantrell. Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Dotson.
Yes.
Representative Duplessis.
Yes.
Representative Flannery.
Aye.
Representative Fugate.
Yes.
Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Kirk McCormick. Representative Marzian. Representative Miles. Representative Gibbons Prunty.
Yes.
Representative Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Stevenson. Representative Wesley.
Yes.
Representative White. And Chair Gooch.
Yes. Okay, there is a committee a title amendment. Motion on title amendment, motion and second by Bowling and Fugate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Title amendment is adopted. So is now we kind of had to do that to maintain our quorum and allow some, so we're happy to discuss it. Representative?
It'll be recorded as a yes vote on Senate Bill 341.
Yes. Anyone else want to represent Cantrell?
I'd like to record a yes on the vote that we just took on the task force, and I won't record a vote on the other bill.
Okay, that is 7:55.
Yes, correct.
All right. Any other members? Okay, are there any questions or comments? You did such a good job explaining it. There are no questions. So I think that's. I think we're going to have lots of questions, but it's going to be in the task force that ensues. So thank everyone for being here today, and we appreciate you. We got out of here in record time. I'm really surprised. So